and thank you for checking in. I'm going to start making weekly videos where I just talk about what I'm working on hobby-wise and kind of give you a quick glimpse into my hobby life. Right here, what am I working on today? More Horus Heresy stuff. I've been really focused on Horus Heresy lately. I'm having a ton of fun painting my word bearers. I think largely because they look very different from my Grey Knights, and it's a whole different discipline. Also, the new Horus Heresy models are just so fantastic. They're a ton of fun, they're very simple, there's not a lot of trim, so they go by really fast. Here is one of my finished TAC Marines. So right now what I'm working on for them is 10 tactical support Space Marines, whatever this unit is called. Let me check the book. Ugh. Legion Tactical Support Squad, and I've outfitted them all with rotor cannons, which I'm doing because they look cool. That's the extent of that reason. I've only played one game of Horus Heresy so far, and I don't know enough about the game to build based off of whether or not something's good. I had a ton of fun with my first game of Horus Heresy though. It's exceptionally complicated and there's a lot going on. But with that added complication, it means that there are so many different things that can happen at any given time, just as far as like the chaos of battle goes. So every turn, something happened and we weren't expecting what it was, and the game was chaotic. John tried to throw a fireball into my lines after he deep striked an inch away with his drop pod, decided to make it 3 fireballs by doing a psychic test, failed the psychic test, and then all the psychic fireballs poured into his battle lines instead. It was awesome. Things like that happen all the time. I've been getting a bunch of questions from folks asking if I'm going to play Horus Heresy on the channel. I don't think so, at least not for a long while. It's a game I don't understand and that really eludes me, and I'm having a lot of fun figuring it out rather than... So I guess what I mean to say is I'm having a lot of fun sort of stumbling through it and spending 6 hours playing a 5-turn game because I'm just sort of figuring it out as I go. So you wouldn't want to watch me like mumbling my way through 4 different books anyway. It doesn't sound like a lot of fun, but maybe in the future, once I've really figured it out, I'll be happy to do that. Hobby discovery today, though. I went down to my local friendly game store, Mock's Boarding House, in order to buy a pot of Corvus Black, because this one is empty. And they didn't have Corvus Black in stock. What they did have was Corvus Black Air. So I bought it and decided to try that out. I figured the air paints would be very thin. It was very thin, but honestly, it's a lot easier to apply than the regular thinned down Corvus Black. It's basically pre-thinned in the bottle, and it's going on really smoothly, and I'm really happy with it. So I think this was my fascinating hobby discovery for the week, was realizing that the air paints are basically pre-thinned paints. So this honestly might be the type of Corvus Black that I buy exclusively in the future, because it's doing exactly what I want without me having to work at it at all. Because that's my biggest problem with painting black, is the black is a very thick color, and it just constantly having to apply water and make sure it's thin enough. And on a hot day like today, we're having a heat wave in Seattle right now. It's just no fun constantly having to reach into the pot to re-up the paint and then also throw water in it, and it gets all chunky and chalky. And I think here, this guy right here, you can kind of tell the little, like, the paint was very thick when I put it on because the water had dried out. But these guys are actually looking really smooth, and I'm really liking it. So yeah, try out the air paints if you're looking for something that's already kind of thinned down and you are tired of having to put water into all your paints constantly. What else am I working on right now? Down here in the basement, we have hobby station number 2, where I'm working on Horus Heresy stuff. We set this up last weekend because I thought maybe I had COVID, I had an exposure, and my wife wanted me to not be around her at the time. So I moved the role-playing game table, put it up against the wall, and then made a little painting and building station. And I've made some progress. I have a cool librarian that I'm excited about painting. I got some Grey Knights, I got some Terminators, and I have another attack squad over here. We're putting together so many Horus Heresy models. These guys are a Word Bearers squad. I kit bashed them. They're called Procurator squad. This is the Procurator. He's like a corrupted apothecary, and these are his procurants. They are just dudes with chain swords, and they're going to be following him around while he like collects organs for dark rituals. And they're fun. They give bonuses to psychers in Horus Heresy, like within 6 inches of them. Oh no, I just broke him. Oh, sad. Well, that's what glue is for. My wife is out there working on a thing. Also, what am I doing here? I am putting some flamer guys together. I bought this scout squad today without my wife's knowledge because I'm going to use the snipers from there to make a Legion reconnaissance squad. Basically just Space Marines with sniper bolters. I bought a thing of paint while I was down there. I just also bought a box of scouts.
Rest, Dark Prince, while your glue dries.
Ironic, because he was an apothecary. All right, I'm going to set these guys aside, and I'm going to open up this scout box so I can get all the bolters out of here, and then grab some more Space Marine sprues. Put them on there. Oh man, this kid is ancient and sucks. Wow. Well, the nice thing about Space Marine Scouts, though, is you can always find them everywhere because nobody ever wants them. I was hoping the cloaks would be a separate piece, so I could utilize them. I can't utilize these because they have Aquillas on them, and it seems like far too much work to try to adjust for that. So, I've snipped out some of the sniper rifles, which are going to be Nemesis bolters. I've got my bodies and legs and whatnot right here. I have to figure out... So these have little hands on them. I have to figure out how I can incorporate that, and I think it's just going to involve shaving down the arms on here, which that'll be fun. Oh, I also put together my flamer squad while I was thinking about it. They've all got their nice flamers right now, and the sergeant's looking mighty spooky, which is the goal with Word Bearers. All right, let's do some thinking on this. There we go. So I think I don't know, I'm thinking about cutting that cable off, but also I could try to talk to some of my friends and see if anybody can help me learn how to mold like a green stuff cape. That might be fun to have. Oh, hello dog. That might be fun to have those on here. Make the whole squad look sneaky. Anyway, I'm gonna snip up those guns, get them all on there. I was putting the bodies together and thinking, okay, what am I gonna do for the sergeant? Because I like to make my sergeants look special. You know, I like to make them look like cool characters who are... Because in Horus Heresy, they are characters. They have a character keyword. I like to make them look interesting and special, so I was wondering how I was going to do that with my recon boys right here. I use these bodies a lot, obviously, because there's only 5 different Mark 6 bodies, so I've used a lot of them. I was trying to think about what to do to make them special, and I realized, aha, I have my recon sergeant right here, already primed and ready to go. This is one of the anniversary Imperial Space Marines, and I wanted to make him a centurion, but I couldn't figure out what role he wanted. He has a combi disintegrator. The recon sergeant can take a combi disintegrator, so you, sir, are going to be the head of the recon squad there with your fancy gun and all of your friends. Back upstairs in the office, we're going to do the next step with these guys, which is getting silver on the weapons and all the little details across them. Boy, that is taking a minute. I don't know why, but metallics always seem to just take a little long. We got 5 of them done. We'll come back in a minute after doing something else. So unless I'm working on something that I'm really passionate about, my dedicated hobby days, typically I'm working on 3 things at once. It's just how my brain works. So my third thing that I'm working on at the moment, I need to get all of this terrain from Snot Goblin Games painted up. We're doing a tournament at Waystone next weekend and need more terrain. So Snot Goblin Games provided my YouTube channel with this cool terrain that you might have seen in a recent battle report. They're also, I might as well plug them, they're doing a Kickstarter for like a new set of this kind of terrain soon. So if you're interested in this kind of stuff, if you watched that battle report and you're like, that stuff's cool, they're doing a Kickstarter for a new set of this stuff. And if you sign up, you get a chance for free terrain. They're giving away free terrain every day, which is cool. Everybody likes free stuff. But I'm gonna paint all of this stuff just very simply. We're gonna do, I think, just a primer and then maybe a dry brush across the whole thing. Nothing too fancy, just enough to get it ready for the tabletop. Oh, this fucker. There we go. Masks are super helpful. I didn't wear one yet, and I should have put one on. You probably have a lot of extra N95s from COVID, so use them, and that way you don't get lightheaded while you're spraying. Okay, so red covered 3 of these, now the can's empty. We're gonna do a different color. Let's see what we got. All right, I've got blue and tan. Neither of them are very full. We're gonna see what we can do. The blue went on a lot easier than the red. I don't know what that means. I don't know anything about paint. All right, many hours have passed, and I put a wash on these that hasn't dried yet. It's this terrible stuff that kind of, let's see if I get it in the light. It looks all right. The goal was not to soak everything. It was just to kind of like get a little bit of shadowing on it. Anyway, it's this terrible stuff by army painter called Quick Shade, which I keep in a, don't drink whatever that is. I keep it because I bought it many years ago, and every time I use it, I forget that it's terrible. It's just so thick and sticky, and it just like, I end up having to, it feels like tree sap, and I end up spending hours washing it from my fingers, and it's not great. I think, why are you lying down in the garage? Well, let's go check on our other project, and be right back. Now talking about good washes, I just got done doing all the metallic bits and everything on these guys, and I put the Nolan oil on all their weapons and the metal bits, and I really like how they're looking so far. Got to do more details, and then I'm going to do the transfers, and then move on to a rhino. I've kind of got a rhythm at the moment. Right now, I'm trying to tell myself, because I have so many, Horus Heresy has so many troops, so I'm telling myself I'm going to do 10 troops, a bigger unit, like a vehicle or a dreadnought, and then a character, 10 troops, bigger unit, vehicle, character, etc., etc. So I did the dreadnought and stuff. Next up is this rhino, which is going to be really fun. Yeah, I guess that's kind of where I'm at. That's it. That's kind of the hobby update this week. Oh, I did get a thing, which in the mail, which I'm excited about. It's gonna be for my word bears. Nobody tell my wife, please.